What's up, y'all? What's up, man? Hey, another blessing, man. Another day. It's another blessing. Waking up in the morning. You feel me? All praise to God. Episode 432. Episode 432, man. If you have not subscribed and shared, man, make sure you do that. Throw them likes in the chat as well. Yes, sir. I see y'all popping up. What it do? Hey, man. Let's go. Let's get it. The title of this pod is Know the Rules. Know the rules. So, off bat, I want to talk about what are some unwritten rules in life everyone should live by. All right, I repeat, what are some unwritten rules in life that everyone should live by? Let me start off with one. When out in public, do not play your headphones loud. And I say that because when you playing your headphones loud and you out in public or you out somewhere, you're not aware of your surroundings. You're not aware of your surroundings at all. I just had an incident when one of my friends is talking about he almost got robbed because he was playing his headphones too loud, so he wasn't even noticing his environment, and he was in the trenches somewhere. So it's like that's another thing right there. Be mindful of where you're at. That's an unwritten rule as well too. Be mindful of where you at, but also being aware of your surroundings and what you're listening to. You know what I'm saying? Because you listening to that crank on your phone, not knowing you in a treacherous situation where you about to get robbed or something about to happen bad to you. So that's an unwritten rule. When you're out in public, do not play your headphones loud. Have one AirPod in or something of that nature. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Another big one, unwritten rule. Prayer requires action. Prayer requires action. We have so many cases of where we do every single day. We may pray and we ask God for all these things and all these things that we want to be blessed upon in our lives, but we not have an understanding that it's not just on God. It requires your action as well too. So it can't be done. Your blessings can't be granted if you don't put the action towards it as well too. Don't just put it all on God. Of course, we want our God to be there, and He's always going to be. God is always going to be there. Our Lord is always going to be there. But prayer requires action as well too. Juice almost done doesn't go back in the fridge. Juice almost done doesn't go back in the fridge, y'all. Come on now. And food that's like, if you have a little bite of food left, don't put that back in the fridge. Look here. I don't want to be a hypocrite. What I do as well too, something I do, if I don't finish my food, I put it in the microwave. That's a bad thing to do, and it'll just stay there the rest of the day. So I feel like juice and certain food items that are almost done, that are almost complete, bro, don't put that back in the fridge. That used to be my parents' pet peeve that me and my brother used to do. We used to put a little bit of juice left back in the refrigerator. Like what? For what? You might as well finish that. Another unwritten rule. Don't tell anybody, how can I say it? Don't tell anyone anything before it's done. So like if you're in the midst of getting something done, don't continue to tell somebody before it's done. Because now you create an expectation for yourself, and say if you don't get that said thing done or whatever the case may be is, now they're looking at you funny. That's a key one. And then also like not telling everybody your business or like what's going on in your life in a certain way. Like that's how a lot of people IP gets stole. So like your intellectual property is a lot. So like say if you're sharing ideas, you're sharing thoughts, like be mindful of who you sharing those thoughts with as well too. I feel like that's a key unwritten rule as well. Like any plans within business or your future, you just be mindful who you talking to and who you can trust for real. That's another unwritten rule. Always be polite to people who serving your food. That is a fact. Always be polite to people who serving your food. Like, I never want to be mean with somebody serving my food, even if the service is not the best. Like in the back of my head all the time, I'm like, all right, stay respectful. You know what I'm saying? You can communicate in a certain way, but people serving your food, man, you never know what they can do to your food. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen so many videos that have gone viral of people spitting in food, doing nasty things to people's food because they would treat it in a certain way. That's important, bro. Like being polite to the people that serve you is very important. That's an unwritten rule. If I hand you my phone for anything, like to see a picture, to see a text. If I hand you my phone for something, do not keep my phone and keep looking and scrolling on my phone. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I hate them type of people that would grab your phone after you show them something and then just continue to swipe and be nosing your phone. Give me my goddamn phone, bro. The heck this look like? Another unwritten rule. If you have a pet, do not tell me that pet does not bite. I don't care what you're talking about, especially a dog. Do not tell me the dog doesn't bite. Let me see that for myself. Also, if you have a pet, don't have the pet just aggressively coming up to me and then you looking at me crazy in a certain type of way if I pet the dog or pet the pet. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Being mindful of your pet as well too. Another unwritten rule, which I feel like should be a rule in general, but if you have a pet, clean up after your pet outside. Nobody wants to see poop everywhere. Come on now, that get me right there. That get me right there. Cause I used to live in an apartment complex, fairly nice apartment complex. But every single time I came outside, doodle all everywhere. Clean up after your pet if you're gonna have a pet. But I feel like that's the most trifling thing ever, bro. Another one. I feel like that is a good one. If you use the bathroom last and the toilet paper runs out, it is now your job to replace that toilet paper. That's a fact. That's a fact. A lot of these things may not be like they're unwritten rules, but also I feel like some of these things are common sense, but everything ain't common to everybody. You feel me? Everything ain't so common to everybody. So that's also important as well too. Like that right there, boy. You lying. What are some unwritten rules from y'all, man? What are some unwritten rules from y'all? Y'all can throw that in the chat. You feel me? Throw that in the chat. What are some unwritten rules for y'all? Back to the one I said though, I feel like that's very important that I don't want to be missed is the prayer requires action. Like I said, we talk a big game all day. We might pray for so many things and ask to be blessed with so many things. Yet you're not putting the actions in your life to do so. You're not doing anything that's going to actually change the result in your life. You feel me? We could pray on it all we want, but if it's not action behind the prayer, you know what I'm saying? You hear me? I know y'all hear me out there. You feel me? Like I feel like that's very important. I may be guilty of that as well too. I for sure am. Praying and asking God for so many things and be blessed with and all these things, but not crossing the boxes myself in my individual life. So it's like, how do you expect to be blessed without the action or putting action towards something? Or, I think that's important. I think that's important as well too. Another unwritten rule is be mindful who you talk religion and politics to. That's for sure, because that can hinder relationships. That can hinder relationships in a big way. It hinders how people talk to you. It can impact your whole life if you let it. So just be mindful of who you're talking to about certain stuff, for sure. We're moving forward, guys. We're moving forward. Those are my unwritten rules, man. Make sure you guys put that in the chat. Comment below. What are some of your unwritten rules in life that I feel like everyone should live by? Or just some unwritten rules for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know the rules. Anthony Mackie, he speaks out about raising his sons to be masculine men. It was a clip that just went out on the Pivot Podcast, man. Shout out to the Pivot Podcast. Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark, and Shannon Crowder have an amazing platform over there. But Anthony Mackie came out on their podcast, and he spoke about raising his sons to be masculine men in a certain way. I completely agree with him, and I love that he spoke about it, and he spoke about it in a respectful way. Because you have in this climate now when we're talking about race or we're talking ethnicity or we're talking sexuality, a lot of emotions come into play. But I do feel like he was accurate in what he said. Just raising his sons to be masculine man, doing certain things that that aligns with their morals and principles in their household. No talking back, making sure your grades are good. Making sure you hold the door for your mom, making sure your mom is taken care of. When I'm not in the house, You are you now are the father figure of this house. You are to take care of the household. You are to take care of your mother. Anything that your mother needs, you to go out your way and do that. You know, and we are now in an era where the masculine and heterosexual male kind of gets looked at in the side eye, because you have so much that's being pushed out here that is not aligned with the heterosexual or straight man. So I respect what he's saying, and I love that he talked about that, because that's something that we need to discuss more. We need to talk about our households, and we need to talk about how these father figures in the household play so much into these children growing up. You know, I love hearing the perspective of a father talking about kids, and a good father at that talking about kids, because it's important. It goes missed a lot, but it's important, because in the black community, we always talk about the other side of things. We always talk about how the father's not there, how the mother's only solely doing stuff like that. So it's a breath of fresh air when you hear somebody that's talking about his kids, a black father that's talking about his kids in a praising way, but also what the expectations are in his household, and holding them accountable in a certain way. That is important, and that is something of value as well too. Like when you have your household together, and when you set certain ground rules and principles in your household, then that goes a long way. That goes a long way. And how you govern yourself around your spouse, or around your partner, is important as well too. I have a perfect depiction of what love looks like, what respect looks like, what loyalty looks like, because of my parents and how I was raised. And having amazing parents, but speaking about a father, having a great black father who's always been there for us, who's always set these ground rules and set these rules of, you know, as far as you can do whatever you want to do, but in this household, these chores need to be done. It's expectations upon you. Chores, your grades, making sure that your mother is good, respecting your mother, and that leads outside of the house to where you have a good example of a good man. So it starts within the household as well too. And I solely give Anthony Mackie respect for his comments, because now in today's era you have where people can get sensitive and turn into something that is not, when he's just solely talking about, you know, the expectations of his boys and his children in his household, and teaching them how to be masculine men, teaching them how to take on responsibility, teaching them how to make sure that their mom is good, and taking care of the household as well. It's a lot of those things that are important that goes missed. And a lot of people now are talking about the comments Doechii made. And if you feel a way about what Doechii said, then that's something personal to you, because regardless of anything, that's her personal life, that's her preference, that's what she likes. It's not for us to continue to judge on what she got going on. That's what I am against. If somebody's got something going on with them, especially their sexuality, look, that's on them. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. That's how I feel. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But a lot of people were outraged because she said a red flag for her is a straight man. But to add context to it, like, Doechii is a bisexual woman. She's talked about her sexuality. And regardless of anything, that's her. That's how she feels. That's her perspective. That's what she wants in her relations. Then that's on her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we put too much stock into what a lot of these celebrities say. You know what I'm saying? We put a lot of stock into that. And I'm guilty of it too. You know, I have a podcast where I talk about different perspectives based off of maybe what somebody else just said, even to the last topic, like Anthony Mackie. But also too, it's I think it's a thin line of like going too far as far as think pieces. You know what I'm saying? Because you have these think pieces that deep dive into something that is really not. You feel me? Like whatever you believe in is what you believe in. You can agree to disagree. That's another thing. And know the rules. That's an unwritten rule. Is that everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Just because you have an opinion doesn't make it a fact. You know, that's something I practice as well. So a lot of the things that I'm saying, I'm not trying to be hypocritical. It's just that's just the real of things. And speaking about family in the conversation I was just on, this was a question that's been stirring up the pot. If you were on a boat and you could only save one, your child or your spouse, who are you saving? For me, I felt like the correct answer was myself is going. I don't want anything to happen to my wife or my kid, so I would sacrifice myself. That's like really instantly what came to my mind. You had a lot of people, which surprised me. A lot of the women said that they would keep their spouse or keep their husband because they can make another child. And I get that perspective too. And then I also get the perspective of, look, you lived your life. Our child didn't get to live their life. Let them live their life. My child is staying, and you're gonna have to go. I kind of get all of the scenarios. I really do. I get the scenario of, look here, I'm sacrificing myself. I get the scenario of whether it be husband or wife. Well, look here, we can make another child. And I completely agree with this one for sure, is that the baby that baby is innocent, hasn't lived their life. You lived majority of your life. You lived your life to this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with the child. For me, honestly, if I am saving one, that's a tough decision for me. That's why I really couldn't choose. Like, I really couldn't choose, because I believe my spouse and child should live, especially in this situation. In this art, it should be me the one who go. You feel me? Like, I feel like that would be my duty in this, is sacrificing myself for the greater good of their futures. You know, and it's a tough question, because it's like, okay, well, now your wife and your partner is without a husband. You know what I'm saying? But they have this child to live through. So it was a good conversation. I was mostly surprised about the woman's response. It was a lot of women responding and saying that, you know, I would rather have my husband because we can make another child. And I don't, and you know, a lot of people were saying like it's criteria based on how old the child is, etc. It matters, but it doesn't. It matters, but it doesn't. Because I just feel like in that situation, that's tough. But you go with the innocence of a child and letting them, you know, be here to be alive. You lived your life. You feel me? You lived your life. But it's still tough for me to say, because like I said, I understand the point of where if my spouse doesn't go, I keep my spouse and wife on the boat, then we can make another child. But who's to say that we're gonna want to make another child after this traumatic experience? You feel me? So it's like that's tough regardless of anything. Y'all let me know what y'all would do in that situation, y'all. If you were on a boat and you can only save one, your child or your spouse, who are you saving? Who goes? Who stays? Like I said, for me, I'm gone. I'm gone. I couldn't see the pain on my child's face or my wife's face and trying to explain why they're not there. You get what I'm saying? Or explain why I made this certain decision. No, I'll take the L on that. I'll have to take the L on that one for sure. Bring it back to infamous, y'all. Bring it back to infamous. Would you rather? Bring it back to infamous. Would you rather? Would you rather live in an escape room or a game of Clue? Now, an escape room I've never experienced before. I've seen movies. For an escape room, my anxiety, my claustrophobia, I couldn't do it. Game of Clue, I think that would match my personality a little bit more, because as far as like content and what I watch, I like mysteries, I like dramas. So I would like to figure something out, even though escape room is like figuring something out. But no, it's how I view an escape room. Look, if you don't figure out this riddle, you don't figure it out, then you out of luck, player. That's how I figure it. I'm like, nah. Then escape room remind me too much of Final Destination. If y'all know what Final Destination is, bro, boy, Final Destination, the movie used to spook me, bro. Like, that's one of the movies that was just like too realistic for me. I was just like, oh, no, I'm good. So I would rather live in a game of Clue, like a mystery, trying to figure something out. It may be stressful at a point, but I'll get my detective on before I ever going into an escape room. Like, how I look at an escape room, like I said, if you don't figure it out, then it's only other, you know what I'm saying? It's only one other result, and you're not going to make it to see another day. So an escape room would give me so much paranoia, anxiety, claustrophobia. I'm like, that's kind of a reason why I never went to the escape room. I've always talked about going, but like, I'm kind of nervous. You feel me? Like I still be nervous, even though it can be a game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like in the sense of you just gonna stay there. But I just, yeah, I'm traumatized off of like what I've seen in movies and film to like even think about that. I'm good off of that. I am great off of that. Let's talk about music, y'all. And music, the longer awaited Playboi Carti album just came out. I am Music album just dropped. 30 songs, lengthy album. For me personally, I just think the sound has passed me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the sound has passed me. The SoundCloud era sound where you had Lil Uzi, Famous Dex, Playboi Carti, etc. Like it's I don't want to hear mumbling the whole album. I don't want to hear mumbling. I feel like we're in a place where we're back to rap. We're back to good music. And yes, I like some songs off of the album. I will give Playboi Carti his credit as far as like his creativity. He doesn't sound like anybody that I know of. You know, he's creative in that aspect, but like the certain sounds, it's like I'm over it. I'm over it, like the certain sounds. And then I heard Kendrick on the album. I'm like, that don't even match. Like the songs that I heard, I'm like, I can do without for sure. You know, like the Future Thug, those collabs were good. The Travis Scott collabs were good. You know, it's good music on there. But like how I like me looking at the music, like 30 songs is a lot for an album. It's a lot. The attention span is short. It's a longer way to album, but the attention span is still short. 30 songs. And then as far as like those 30 songs, it's not a lot of quality on there. It's more quantity than quality. And like how I just feel about it overall, I just feel like that type of music is past me. I leave that for the younger generation. I'm still young, but I'll leave that for the younger generation as far as the music and them want to, you know, listen to that music. It's like it's so many different genres of hip hop now. Like I feel like this genre is like heavy. It's like heavy rock metal rap, or you know what I'm saying? Like in a way, if we were putting it into a genre, it's like more so rock star music in a way, with a hint of rap in here and there. You know, I just feel like these type of sounds of music, it just passed me by, bro. It just passed me by. Like it was a time where I would say like 2016 to about 2019. Even probably before that, but that SoundCloud sound was like a premier sound. But like I feel like that has passed me by. And then what I was raised on was just real good music. You feel me? Like real good music, real good raps. You know, actually hip hop in its true element. And I understand that, you know, nowadays you have like subgenres of rap. You know, you have melody, you have all different types of sounds, which is respected. But it's like for me, it's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me. I feel like Playboi Carti, his peak and his as far as his best album was his album called Die Lit, which was a similar sound, but it was more rap. It was more to align with like hip hop. It wasn't as like rock star heavy metal it is nowadays. That's kind of how a lot of people feel about Lil Uzi. A lot of people feel like Lil Uzi fell off because of the certain type of music he was making. You know what I'm saying? He's not. It's just like he's becoming a rock artist. You feel me? Like, so it's like I respect the music, but like, is it for me? No, it ain't for me. It ain't for me. My question to the audience, because this is personal to me, so I can speak from bias. But my question to the audience is, why isn't Steph Curry in any GOAT conversations? Why don't we put the respect on Steph Curry's names like we do these other legends and icons in the sport? First of all, I feel like I don't care. You can say this is my opinion. I'm being like subjective, whatever. Steph Curry on any list should be top 10. Based off of his resume, based off what he's done for the game, based off how he's changed the game, what he's done in the last decade, from the championships to the rings to the influence to his overall impact. Like, I don't understand how Steph is not in more GOAT conversations. For real. We talking about a finals MVP. We're talking about unanimous MVP 2 times. We're talking about a 4-time champion. We're talking about the greatest shooter that has ever lived. Ever. It's not even close. He just reached 4K in 3-pointers. That is never going to be done. And he's still going. You know what I'm saying? He was 36. At 33, he just won his last title with little to no help. I feel like he deserves his more respect, and I feel like he needs to be in more of these GOAT conversations. We could talk about LeBron, we could talk about MJ and Kobe all day long. Kobe is my favorite player for sure, and I think he deserves to be in that conversation a little bit more than he is as well too. But I feel like Steph Curry should especially for now in this generation, he deserves to be in these GOAT conversations. Dispute it all you want. I don't really know how you can. His resume is GOAT worthy. Steph Curry's resume is GOAT worthy. We can go down the list of everything that he's accomplished. And also doing this and winning championships in the LeBron era. A lot of people have LeBron as the GOAT. A lot of people view him as the GOAT. So if he's losing to one of the greatest shooters ever, Steph Curry, and one of the greatest players that we ever seen, Steph Curry, in his era, what does that say about Steph Curry? How is he not in the top 10? How is he not in more GOAT conversations? I like, for me, I don't understand it. And then always you get this conversation always when people try to debate about the GOAT conversation or Steph being in that conversation about, okay, well, Kobe, LeBron, and MJ are better players. You can say that. It may be a subjective, but I really feel like objectively, he's just as great as a player as well too. For sure. Like, what goes unnoticed about Steph's game is his finishing ability. We don't sit here and talk about Steph being one of the most skilled players of all time. We always talk about Kyrie, but he's one of the most skilled players of all time with unlimited range, with his ability to finish at the rim. You know, you could say defense, but everybody that I name has a flaw in their game. You could say the flaw for LeBron is that, you know, he lacks that dog in him, even though he is is one of the greatest ever, if not the greatest for people. He lacks that dog. For Kobe, people say he was a ball hog. He shot too much. For MJ, you know, he has his knocks as well too. It's like everybody has a flaw. So I don't understand why Steph, just because they talk about his flaw on the defensive side of the game or him being clutch in certain moments, I mean, he's not perfect, but also I feel like he deserves to be in this GOAT conversation, especially if he gets another ring. For me right now, he's the greatest point guard of all time from what I've seen. Yes, you do have Magic, and I don't want to disrespect Magic. But from my generation and what I grew up watching, yes, Steph Curry is the greatest point guard ever, not just the shooter. For real. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I do feel like he deserves to be in more GOAT conversations. And he needs to be respected in that realm, bro. I feel like if you go down the list of who accomplished everything, you know, you have Kareem and what he accomplished, Shaq, to Magic, to the LeBrons, to Kobe, to MJ, Tim Duncan. The list goes on. But if you compare his resume to all the greats and the icons that you compare them to, it's not far off by any measure. Not just in rings, just in accomplishments as well. We just seen a Steph Curry in the Olympics take over, you know what I'm saying, and win us this gold. We're hitting, but what, 5 threes straight? Come on now. At some point, Steph Curry needs to be in these conversations. Steph Curry needs to be a topic, just like y'all talk about the Lakers and Cowboys all daggone day. Or you talk about the LeBron and Jordan debate all day. I don't know. Steph need to be in that conversation. And then also, too, Kobe needs to be in that GOAT conversation even more as well, too. I've always felt like I don't understand why Kobe was always slighted in the GOAT conversation. If you guys say that he's the closest thing to Jordan, how is he not either better or second to Jordan? Nobody would never give me the understanding. And what goes unnoticed about Kobe is that Kobe has the most defensive nods and defensive accolades more than Jordan and LeBron. And Kobe was debatably a better defender than both of them. So we always talk about the offensive side and what Kobe's done on offense, being his offensive dominance so much, but we don't talk about what Kobe did defense. We don't talk about how if it wasn't for Kobe, Shaq wouldn't have the three-peat. It's a yin and yang as well too. We always talk about, oh well, Kobe wasn't the best player on the team when he won the three. What are we sitting there talking about? You talking about a Kobe that was 20, 21, 22, averaging 25 plus points in the NBA Finals and throughout the whole playoffs. Yet y'all wanna not give him his credit, bro. I'm gonna tell you this right now, bro. Kobe deserves to be in more GOAT conversations, if not the GOAT, my opinion. And I'll stand on that. That's just my opinion. I will stand on that. I will die on any hill about that. I feel like Kobe does not get his credit in the GOAT conversation, and I never understood why. You can't say he's just like the greatest of all time in Jordan and then put him third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Don't make no sense. You can never make it make sense for me. But yes, another amazing episode of the Phase on View podcast, man. Make sure you guys tap into the content. Make sure you guys follow me, TikTok Live. Much love to you guys. Make sure you guys follow me. I will follow back. Like, share, and subscribe. That is also in the link on all my socials at the Phase on View podcast. Much love. Yes, sir.